All right, let's get started. Welcome. I hope everyone's going well tonight. Hair's all over the shop. There we go. No, it just wants to do its own thing. All right, tonight it's going to be a lazy stream tonight. I have just found out through just randomness that we might need to change the state management for NearBeach when we do the 0.32, just because, well, there's this message. PNR is now the default. So, hey. That being said, they're kind of like everything should be the same as like the VueJS stuff that we already do, and I'm forgetting what version of VueJS we've got. I'll quickly look that up. Give me a second. Don't drink my tea, sweetie. 4. All right, cool. Not a problem. We don't have too, if we did need to migrate this, we don't have too much to migrate. I'm just hoping that certain map getter functionality is still available. And it looks like it is. Well, hang on. I say that way too soon. There's the crossed out line. Map getters. It is deprecated. Sorry. Use map state instead. Okay, cool. Cool functions maps to do. All right. Example. So we've got the computer to do map state. All right, cool. So I could potentially migrate this over somewhat easy. I'm going to say it's going to be a bit of work, but hey, these things happen. All right, these things happen. Now, the one thing which brought this little discussion on was I was essentially doing this. I wanted to come in here and sort of do another test, but this time instead of where is my brain? Instead of using Tailwind, I want to just use pure CSS. See if I can do the nav bar and all that kind of stuff just with CSS, and then probably expand it and stuff like that with JavaScript and so forth like that. So yeah, it's just a learning experience today. Nothing's going to come out of this whatsoever, apart from just a bit of knowledge and stuff like that. And I kind of want to do this for planning purposes. So yeah, let's jump straight into it. So the reason why I spotted it was this PNR state management there, and I was like, hang on a minute, we're using VueJS. I thought that was the default, and yeah, look where we are now. All right, so we're just going to do this with this particular project. We're going to use Playwright because I'm going to be using Playwright for my 9-to-5 job. Select experimental features to include in your project. I'm not going to do experimental stuff at the moment. Skip all sample code. Start with a blank view project. I'm going to say yes. Scaffolding done in that. Now run. Yep. I'm just going to run these. npm run format and npm run dev. I'm just going to run them one after the other. And let's just jump into it. So I'm just going to open was doing this thing again. Ah, there's the refresh. So I'm just going to open up that folder. I'm just going to go to this window. Yeah, we're going to trust the project. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yeah. So we've got pretty much everything here. We've got the router. I've just included that in this just to see how to use it and so forth like that, because I don't know these things. I don't know how to use that yet. We have the app. This will be empty. Yeah, that's pretty much stock standard. What we would want to do is we're going to right click and write a new folder called components. Oh, access denied, not a problem. What we're going to do, I'm going to go back over here. We're going to go sudo change group. It is going to be recursive. It's going to be NearBeach and NearBeach. Oh no, that's just NearBeach. Hang on, it's change user, isn't it? Owner, change owner, recursive, NearBeach, and make sure the group is NearBeach for everything in the NearBeach mock 2. And that's it. Alright, so I'm going to cd into the NearBeach mock 2. We're going to run those 3 commands there, just one after the other. That won't take too long to do. You can see it's already doing it. Under the source, I'm going to right hand click and I am going to do directory and I am going to do components. Now I can see that there's under tests here. Is that how they're doing it? Is that the preferred method? Got a fab icon. Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah, this is just a simple, quick test just to make sure that it boots up. Expected test, you did it, which is part of this screen and so forth like that. We won't worry too much about tests today. I just wanted to, curiosity, I just wanted to see how it was set up. So, yeah, all right. Yeah, we won't need the public. We've got the end-to-end. Ooh. Okay. Should have mocked it out with all the data, but that's fine. I can do that another day. See what they can do. So we've got our components. I'm going to right-hand click. I'm going to do another view component. I'm going to do navbar. This is composition API. Okay. We're going to leave that at the moment. We're also going to open and do another view component, and we're going to write in here. This would be the sidebar. So yeah, once again, we'll add stuff in. I am call it off campus here. Okay, yep, I'm gonna do this because you guys can't see that. So yeah, there's a little off-campus bar like that, in which case you can do a drop down and stuff like that. I'm just seeing how Bootstrap builds it. I'm also gonna see how Tailwind does it. Tailwind up. Now we called it a sidebar the other day. This is part of the navbar. Yeah, it's pretty basic. No, we don't want that. It sucks. All right. don't want to hear error feature. I'm just going to do this so you guys can also see. They've got call to actions. Bento grids. Once again, we're just dealing with the navigation at the moment. Header sections. Let's have a look at the header sections. Okay, they're just, yeah, no. Start. No, testimonials, blogs, contact sections, team sections, footer, FAQ, content sections, no header, flyout menus. Okay, so that's what they call those. Once again, we're not going to deal with those. For a full page, landing page, no, we're not dealing with pages. The stack layouts, sidebar layouts, that's what we were doing. And then there's the multi-column layouts. It's got 2 columns there, but yeah, this is what I liked yesterday with the search up there. We didn't have that. We didn't have most of that and stuff like that. So we're going to recreate what we did the other day. Yeah, we're just going to recreate it. We've also got to pick some colors. So color picker. Canva, I think is. Oh, I like that. You know what? I like that. I actually do like that. We're gonna pick these colors. We're gonna play around with them today. Yeah. So now I set this up using Vite. I went Vue latest, didn't I? Not Vite latest? Shoot. That's probably why everything's different. Hang on, let me double check everything. Great, Vue latest, yeah, alright. That's why all of this is different. I'm just trying to remember. It does have Vite under the hood, and you know what? I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to worry at all. We do need to create the CSS and all that kind of stuff. That's not going to be a problem. I'm just wondering. How we're going to put that in, because it did it automatically with the Tailwind stuff. Using plugins. All right, cool. You know what? I can just search. Using CSS instead of that. All right. Inputting the editor. I mean, if we were doing this really correctly, it should be, every item should be scoped here. Alright, cool. Alright, sorry, I'm a bit slow tonight. Just the brain is not on at all. Okay, no, that's not what I was after. That's not what I was after. I'm just going to close those. Actually, no, that now becomes a task. Alright. Prod, Kanban information to... this won't be part of the API, this won't. I'm not moving that to blocked. Sorry, request for change, organization, administration. It's going to be one of these. All right, so move from VueX to just wait, VueX. Pinya. All right, this is going to be highest priority. As stated on the VueX documentation, we're just going to load to here. VueX is no longer default, and we'll functionality, which is annoying for us. We need to Pinya. So this refactor is almost becoming a rewrite. Okay, so that's going up to the top. That's going to be flagged as 032. So we're just going to add that in as 032. We're all happy with that. All right, cool. Now, okay, they got socks. Just one cat in here. I'm going to close that, I'm going to close that, I'm going to close that. We're going to keep these colors. I am... Yes, socks. What's the matter? She's like, I am not happy. As I won't come here. Jesus. Now, I did like this, but once again, I'm going to put this over here. I liked having the search bar and stuff like that up there. I really did like that, and we're going to keep that too. Ooh, view icons. I wonder if there's a library which we could call... Don't want a big library. That's the thing. I'm not going to worry about icons at the moment. All right. I think once again we're just doing simple sort of stuff, and then once we're happy with the basic sort of layout and how it's working, what sort of tech we're going to use and so forth like that, then we'll decide the next decision. At the moment there's just way too much. We just need to be like, all right, cool, that's a later design issue. I could create a Kanban board to sort of put all these questions and stuff like that, these design decisions that need to be. Anyway, too tired in the hard basket. So with this one, they've got a little nav bar up there. So we're going to have the same sort of thing. I know that there is one. There we go. So they've got a little nav bar also up there, and they've just got a little nav. We're just going to call it. Now this is set to spaces. I'm just having a look at the style guide because another thing which I got to do is sort of upgrade to Vue. All right, this is for Vue 2. We want Vue. All right, let's see. Tabs, spaces. All right, cool. I am going to change that. All right, in the prettier. Which one's this one? All right, so they want single quote. All right, cool. Yep. Print width. Forgot what prettier I installed. Not a problem. Let's go into the packages. It'll be this one. Okay, yep. I'm happy with all of that. Yep. Trailing comma. Tab width 4. All right, that's what I want. Semi, I'm assuming it means semicolon at the end, which we should look up. Okay, cool configurations. Okay, integrations, browser, options. That's what I want. Experimental. No. Tab width, what we want. Tabs. Indent lines with tabs instead of spaces. Leave that. Semicolons. All right. Then what's semi? I'll leave that there. Yep, that's what we want. Quotes. Use single quotes instead of double quotes. We've got the single quote true. Trailing comma. Print trailing commas wherever possible in a multi-line comma separated syntactical structure. A single array, for example, never gets a trailing comma. All trailing commas wherever possible, including functions and parameter calls. Alright, cool. Where valid. Okay. Ooh, bracket line. Yeah, I know socks. No, preserve, keep as many multi-lines. There's, yeah, all right, cool. So object wrap. All right, put the bracket of a multi-line HTML view angular element at the end of the last line instead of being alone on the next line. Does not apply to closing elements. Yeah, all right, cool. I'm gonna leave that one out for the moment. Another deprecated one. All right, cool. Don't need to worry about that. Arrow functions, parenthesis. Yeah, I'll keep the default range. Parser. Okay. Mm-hmm. No socks. I'll go through these a little bit later, but yeah, all right, cool. I'm happy with that. That means this will now change. Sweet. So I can do something like that and it'll clean it up. All right, so let's start importing stuff in here. So we need to import the navbar from components navbar. However, it's all in lowercase. So import navbar from navbar. Import. Hang on. I just realized I need to do that. So here we need to import navbar from components, and we could potentially do the aliasing and stuff like that, which I should start doing. Resolve alias, which is what I want. All right. I go to the. I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. But the idea being is instead of doing this .. / stuff like that, we just go and have a keyword called, let's say, components, and it will just work. Actually, no, I'm going to give it a little bit more light. Resolve alias example. For example, alias, find, all right, paths, at the equals. Yeah, and then you do something like this. So if we go into I think the Vite config, they've got an example in here. All right. Yeah, it doesn't like. Damn it. Okay, this is really going to annoy me. Alright, and then that's file URL path. I'm just gonna do that, and then we're just gonna go components, and then I'm just gonna do something like that, and we're just gonna go router. And then I'm somewhat happy. Yeah, okay, cool. So if I go to the app now, I should be able to do that. And then in here, and then I should also do sidebar. Yeah, no socks. Navbar's not working. Let's just delete that. Let's put it back in. Navbar. Hang on. Have I just been spelling it wrong this whole entire time? Highly likely. Highly likely. All right, so one thing I do want to do is on the index, here it is, on the body, background color hot pink, and the reason being is it stands out. It's rather garish. Also, am I running the... No, I'm not. npm run dev. Let's get this server up and running. I'm just going to copy that link. We're going to go over here. We're just going to copy and paste it in. All right, I'm going to move that all the way over there. Yay, we did it. I'm going to close that. I'm happy with that so far. This is the config. I think it's all happy, so we'll leave it open like that. I'm going to close that. I'm going to close that. We're going to focus on just what we need to focus on at the moment. So in here, we're getting rid of this at the moment because we won't need that at this current stage. We're just seeing what I can do tonight. So with the nav bar, what we want to do is we'll have a simple nav. All right. I'm just going to leave it like that for the moment. We're going to go back over here and we're going to have a look at the nav bars and stuff like that from in here. So if we have a look in here, it's just a nav, it's got a class, and then we've got a div inside it. I'm going to try and do this so it has as little as possible in there. So what I want to do down here, I want to type in nav, and we're going to have a display flex. Flex direction is going to be row. We're definitely going to set that. I don't know how to do dark mode with CSS. So dark mode CSS. All right. Since this feature works across all the latest browsers and devices. All right, cool. So in this sort of case, considering that's quite early last year. It's been well over a year and stuff like that. And considering when we actually get this deployed, which will be probably middle of next year if we're lucky, touch wood, better get out and get to Pat Socks at the same time. Yeah, I'm going to implement this. So, color scheme, light, dark. All right, so body color, light, dark. Background color, light, dark. All right. So we've got to set this up somewhere. Okay, cool. The light dark color CSS, can't read. The light dark CSS color function enables 2 colors for a property, returning one of the 2 colors, detecting if the developer has set light or dark color schema or the user has requested light color thing without needing to encase the thing colors within all of that media feature queries. Awesome. Users are able to indicate their color scheme preference through their operating system settings or their user agent. The light dark function enables providing 2 color variables, is accepted. Cool. The light dark CSS color function. Awesome. So this is going to be really easy to do. I'm not actually, now that I think about it, I better not worry about that tonight. But first, we want to go background color, and we're going to pick those nice colors. I'm going to do royal blue. Oops. Like so. And then we want the color yeah, let's stick with that one first. Now the other thing is we don't actually have navbar showing here. So what we want to do is, hey, stop it. Stop you hissing. Just let him past. All right, in here we've got the nav. There's no height or anything like that. So if we do a width at 100% and a height at 100%, we still don't see anything. We don't actually have any content in it either, which we better start putting in. This is probably also why they've got content in here. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just having a good think at the moment. Just wondering if I should put in a div or anything like that. But let's just go put in an input first. Do something like that. We'll go type equals text. Easy done. We won't worry about. We better set up the model and all that kind of stuff. So that would be. Oh, this is. Give me 2 seconds. Oops. So that's the old way of how we did it. The options API, we can use data options. All right, cool. I mean, I can move this all into options just because I'm more familiar with it at the moment. Declaring methods, yep. Deep reactivity, we don't need to worry about. And this is the latest. Yeah, all right. What I'm going to do cause some trouble. We're going to change that to that. I'm just more familiar with it, that's why. That's the only reason why. All right, so straight away, we don't need to worry about props. We're not sending anything down here. We need to do data. That is always going to be one of those. We do a return. Actually, sorry, it is a function that we return for. And what we need in here is we're going to have search model. By default, it's going to be like that. Then down in here, what we want to do is we're going to have a nav. There's going to be no classes or anything associated to it. We'll be perfectly fine with that. I'm just wondering if we have a div element in here, but we'll figure that out in a minute. We'll have an import of type text. We'll end that there. Don't know if to end it there or there, but I'll figure it out later. So down here with the scoped stuff, what we want to do is we want to have a nav. We want to have display flex. We want to have it in the row like that. And Scotty P, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. I'm just tired today. I'm just having one of those really, really tired days. So yeah. It's just one of those things where I'm just like, I almost didn't start streaming just because I was like, I don't know what to do tonight. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do what I did last stream, but instead of using Tailwind, I'm going to use pure CSS and see if I could do stuff with pure CSS and figure it out that way. So yeah. Now, why is that complaining? Yeah, save that to the dictionary. Replace single quote string with a double quoted string. It's not wanting to do that. All right, cool. And I've already lost the context of that. When you're saying, am I doing this in thingy with the thing and the stuff? Yes. Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm slowly getting this all set up and hopefully working. So, yeah. Anyway, this doesn't do Sass, does it? Oh, do not use empty rule sets. Oh, no, that's fine with 100%. We'll end up doing calculations and all that kind of stuff for that. We want to grab the background color, so this, and if I go background color, I'm just going to do something like that. Easy done. And yeah, so let's have a look. There's our lovely app so far. It's looking swell. How good is it? Mwah, mwah. All right, not a problem. We just need more CSS to get this to work. So yeah, we'll get that to work. The input is not going at 100, but that's fine. What I'll do is I'll just remove that, and what we can do, nav search input. Yeah, cool. And then I'll just have it as its own class down here. Nav search input, easy done. So this would be width is going to be 100%. We're going to do some padding. We're going to do, I'm going to say 4 pixels, 4 pixels, top and bottom, 0 pixels on either side for the moment. Oh, did something break? Who knows? Something did break. Oh, all right. Let's just fail to resolve. Never. Did I have a spelling mistake or something like that? Possibly. I don't know. At the moment, I can't tell. All right, page reloaded. There it is. We'll fix this up in a second. So what I want to do, and it wasn't padding that I needed for this. Sorry, we're just going to minimize that at the moment. Actually, no, there is padding I want for that. Sorry, the cats are just trying to destroy each other. Up here, we also want some padding. I'm going to go 4 pixels. Sure, why not? We also want to go position. We're going to go fixed. Top is going to be 0. That's like that. We're also going to be width is left at 0. That would be perfect. And then we want the width as 100 view width. That's perfect too. Now, I did say 4 padding on that side. So the input isn't, I'm going to put the input at 50% at the moment, and that's just to stop confusion and so forth like that. So we've got this. This should be just 100% all the way across, with padding on both sides. I don't see padding on the very right, which is a bit concerning. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on a known value. It says my screen's 682 wide, however it's saying it's 690, so I'm doing something wrong in there. I'm going to just undo that. I'm just going to do this for a second. We're going to figure out what's going wrong. So we've got the nav bar, we've got 690 in there, so I am overflowing at one particular point. It might be because I need to do calc 100 view width minus 8 pixels because we've got the padding. And then when we do that, that is perfect. All right, cool. So we're going to do that down here. And instead of left, I'm going to go right. That should be fine. And then, yeah, we just need to calc 100 view width minus 8 pixels. Easy done. Then that gives us this 682, which it should all... All right, I'm happy with that. 682. All right, let's. Your K socks? No. Max. Now another thing is I could simplify this. Get rid of the padding on each side and then deal with margins for those components inside, which I think will be a lot easier. So 100 view width. We're getting rid of the padding. We're going to go padding on the Y direction. Oh, is there a Y? We've got a top and a bottom. I'll just do it the good old-fashioned way. So we'll do 4 pixels and then 0. So that's top and bottom, and then sides are zeroed out. And when I have a look at that, we've got 682 still. So I'm very happy with that. Now I've got to deal with the app very quickly because the app's going to throw me off. With the app, we don't actually have any CSS already set to it. So what I'm going to do, and I'm pretty sure we don't have any body index CSS, is there's the index. Sorry, I couldn't find it for a second. Yeah, we're definitely doing hot pink, and what we also want is I'm going to squish this all up. We want margin, 0 pixels, we won't need that. Padding is going to be 0 also, and that should make our app perfect. All right, cool. So that app fits in perfectly fine now. I don't need to worry about any of that, and we can control everything within the VueJS CSS now. All right, so in the nav bar, we've set that all up. Let's put in our input again. I should also do a vModel equals the search model. That's perfectly fine. So we've got that up there. And we've got some padding in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that back like that. Of course, I don't like how this looks. We're going to use CSS to get rid of a lot of that. We're also going to bump it off to the side a little bit and do all of that fun stuff. So another thing we've also got to take into account is the fact whether the nav bar is extended out and back. And did I actually install state management? No, I didn't. That's a bit silly of me. I should have really done that, because that's something state management is really, really good at. So for example, let's say you've got a bunch of components and stuff like that. I'm drawing out what I've got right now. There's our app, there's our nav bar, and there's our sidebar. If I need to get a value from here over into here, the easiest way to do that is by using state management. Send that data up there and having that data flow over into there. And that way, so for example, let's say on the nav bar you have a button. Let's say it's a little button someone presses that toggles it on and off. That can also go up to there and just refresh the whole entire component cycle and all that kind of fun stuff. So it might be a good time to learn that. But at the moment, let's deal with the input. So if we go back over, I don't think it's this one. it's this one. As you see, the search bar has disappeared. We've also got a logo there and all that kind of stuff, which we'll also sort of do. If we inspect that input, we can see that the color. All right, that's the color. We've got the opacity, little placeholder and stuff like that. So got the search. We should also do a before content. I'm just going to say hello world at the moment. So there's the search. I don't see the hello world, but that might be because it's quite literally on the before. If I go margin auto, oh no, I don't see it. I don't see it there either. Yeah, all right, no problem. What I'm also going to do is margin auto. That just puts that there for the moment. Background, I'm going to say none. There we go. Border, none. Color is going to be the EF. Oh, we need hashtag for that. So we've got that, and then I think we've got placeholder color. Give me a couple of seconds. CSS placeholder color. Input. Yep. All right. Cool. I'm just going to put hot pink to see if it works. No, all right. I'm mucking something up around here. Give me a couple of seconds. Nav, search, input, placeholder, color hot pink. We'll just do that. There we go. All right. I need to get SAS or something working in here. All right, nav, search, input. We don't want input. Sorry, we want before. We want the content is going to be hello world. Yeah, all right, cool. And then that still doesn't show hello world, but not a problem. Because if I now select that, I'll scroll down a little bit. Give me a couple of seconds. CSS. Hello. Input. Specify insert before. Header run in display blocks. Content sum. Okay, let's just play around with it. crossed out. Possibly can't. And that's fine. Alright, so I'm going to get rid of that. We now know the placeholder 1 works. I'm going to do EF, and then this one I'm just going to do the white color. So the idea is if we hit refresh, oh, it's not doing the placeholder color being any darker. Alright. CSS input. Input placeholder color. Yeah, that's. Oh, do I have something simple? Or am I being silly? Yeah, I'm being silly. The colors are pretty much similar. All right, let's do a gray, and there we go. And then when someone clicks on this, they do all of that. Now the focus stuff. This is where I've got to go CSS input focus. Border, we did this the other day, and it is essentially outline equals none. All right, cool. So I want .nav search input focus. We want outline equals none. Perfect. All right, cool. The next thing is, let's do a little image over there. I am just going to grab a quick image of, we've got these pictures. Let's grab that picture. I'm just gonna go sets in here. We're just gonna paste it in. It shouldn't be that large. Yeah, it's not too large. And what I want to do is in here. We can, once again, I'm just doing this very, very quickly. So we could just do a simple image. The source is going to be we're just doing that very, very quickly. And as you can see, it is very large at the moment. This is where we would add in some CSS, and it will just be like, all right, cool. Image for this, we're gonna do the width is, let's say 100 pixels. The height is 100 pixels. Let's say the border radius is, yeah, sure, 50%. We also want to have it so that the image is stretched. So we want so it's going to be like that. Just wondering if we do it as a background thing. with the div statement and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm going to have to. All right, not a problem. Because yeah, if we have a look at this with, actually that's let's go here with the flow byte stuff. If we have a look down here, that's the button. Oh, they've got it as an image. Okay, just give me a couple of seconds. Image, CSS, attributes. Fitting, object fit. Yeah, we want cover. Yeah, all right, cool. And yeah, we don't want it that large. So if we bump it down to 50, and we bump down once again to 50, there we go, we've got that in there. Sweet. So, I'm happy with that so far. And now we can start implementing stuff in this. Another thing I should do is I've got to make sure that any of the CSS for this, for example, doesn't leak anywhere else. So if I am focusing on that, we've got image, data. All right, cool. So it's connected to that only. Sweet. That's what we want. And it makes this a lot easier to do. That way I don't also have it all split across a bunch of different files and all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah, all right, cool. Now, I'm just going to move this all into a div class. So that would be 19 to 26, that's 7. Something like that. So we'll have the nav bar. And then we'll have the class nav bar. And then in here, we'll have the width being 100%, the max width being 100%, the padding being, let's say for the moment, 0 and 10 pixels. And let's go with 100%. Doesn't like that. All right, not a problem. We'll figure out what's going wrong here. Making sure that it is, yep, it is. So we've got an input, got an image. If I click on the class navbar, we don't actually have any CSS. Okay. Yeah, we're doing the .navbar. Oh, navbar. All right. I've done that mistake a couple of times tonight. There you go. All right. So from here, let's have a look into this. Let's just inspect this. We've got the bar itself. We've got everything in it. Oh, we were meant to shrink the pictures, weren't we? The images. We were meant to go down to like 50. We're doing 50 at the moment. We might increase it. Let's go down to 40. right, cool. What's happening is this isn't fitting 100% yet, so yeah, not a problem. You'll see that the input's there, and then this image just gets squished up against it. So I'm just having a quick think. Even that 40 is annoying me. How big were they? Yeah, they're tiny. But if I do that, it's not even. Let's do 32. Yeah, I like that. All right, cool. Easy done. So oops. What we potentially want to do is 100% the input. So I'm just going to go 100%. As you see, it bumps everything off to the next line, which is not what we want. And I'm just going to do some display flex. There we go. That works a lot better. So in here, we can get rid of this and put it in the nav bar. The position fixed, all that kind of stuff is perfectly fine. We're all happy with that with the nav search, but we want to go at 100%. And then we just jump back over into here. You will notice that it does push this little thing out just that little bit further. And what we need to do in here is we do have the width at 100%. We just need to get rid of those lines. So we've got that. We just need to get rid of this and this. I'm just going to hit refresh, make sure everything loads up. All right, so we've got a decent amount of padding over here, so it doesn't crush up against the wall itself. The nav bar is a decent size. If we move back into mobile sort of phone, now remember this will look like this here. So you gotta think, oh, this is a little bit harder to use. We'll come back to this and sort of change it. And Cranberry Wine, hello. How are you going? Hopefully you're going well. So, yes, we've got that there. Now, for the icon, you're good? Oh, that's good to hear. For the icon to work, what we're doing is we're setting a margin to the left of the input, and then we're putting a before in there. Now we might need a div statement for that, but that's not going to be a problem. We can quickly do that. So we've got the nav bar, we're controlling everything on the nav bar with, yep, all right, cool, sweet. I'm just gonna put a little div, I'm gonna go class, I'm gonna go nav bar, hyphen, and this is This is where I gotta make a little tiny bit of change. I'm just gonna go search. We are getting these 6 lines. I'm pasting them in. And then it's going to be hyphen that. So it'll be something like that we're changing this name to. So I've got to go down here. I'm just going to update these. That's all fine. We'll have the search. So this will, and we'll probably do something with the profile picture too. For a few reasons. So if I go div class equals, there'll be navbar hyphen profile. And we'll just key that in like that, and I'm all happy with that. Now, we've probably mucked up everything. Yeah, we've mucked up everything, but that's not a problem. I'm gonna zoom back in. So, what I wanna do, once again, we've gotta make these elements as big as possible. We're just gonna shift a couple of these CSS attributes around. So one of them to shift around is the width. That's instantly going in here. And boom, that's it. So if we have a look at this, we can now see that the input is rather large. Another thing that we should also do is we do have some padding on the input. We should increase that for starters. And because it's a flex box, we won't need the margin. So straight away, we'll get rid of that. The margin's auto. No, we don't need that anymore. Background none, border none. Yep, that's perfectly fine. So the navbar search, well, I should get rid of that like that and do it like that. So the navbar search. I'm just having a look at this. The padding's inside the input. We kinda, actually now that I think about it, margin auto. Yeah, that's not putting it in. I know this is hard to see on the stream, but there's about a tiny gap, which is why this isn't centered correctly. The way to do that is we can go display flex, and then we can go just I think it's the line items center, or justify content center. Sorry. So it should now be in that center. And that's the easy way of doing it. And then, yeah, I didn't actually need the width being 100% for the image and so forth like that. So that still works. So yeah, we can do that very, very quickly. So image, no, that's the image. Sorry, the input. It's gonna be 100%. We're all happy with that. It's this one where we want the display to be flex and the justify content to be centered. So if we go back into here, we're gonna hit a refresh. Notice how it's now centered and stuff like that, and we're quite happy with that. All right, cool. So let's add on the magnifying glass. I am going to have a look for a magnifying glass. I think they've got it in here as a, do they have it as an SVG? That's the user photo. That's the logo. Am I looking at the right one? No, I'm not. I don't think they had one with the logo. All right, not a problem. Damn it. How are they doing these ones? They've just got the SVG in there. Damn it. All right, that's not what we want. We kind of want it as a logo. I'm just trying to have a quick think about how I would tackle this problem. Because the idea is the instant you click on this, it should bring it up. We could do it as a label instead. Have the set height and width. That might work. Yeah, that might work. I am we've got the search low. All right, cool. Other thing is I can reference them like that. Might be a better solution. All right. Okay, not a problem. So navbar search. What I want to do, margin right. We're just going to put 50 pixels at the moment. That's way too large. That's perfectly fine. This is just we're going to fine tune this in a second. So nav bar search, and then what we want to do is before we're going to do a background color is going to be hot pink. Easy done, and we're going to do a width of, let's say 50 pixels, height, let's say 100 pixels. We're just making these numbers up at the moment just to make sure that it actually appears. Now that might not appear. All right, so we're gonna go searching for it. Did we do it before or after? We did do it before, but I've put margin right instead of left. All right, I had a moment, but the before I can't see it. That's the problem. Yeah. Oh wait, content. There we go. I forgot the content. There we go. You know, I forgot something. All right, content. We're gonna do it like that. There you go, we've got it in. Now what we wanna do is, I am gonna go CSS before content SVG, because I have got, it's been a while since I've done this. We could do it, yeah, all right. URL, what we've got is assets, and then it'll be search SVG. However, that being said, give me 1 second. If I do URL again, and then I just go in search SVG, you can't find it. Yeah, I can't find it. Not a problem. We'll just do that. We're all happy with that. There we go. All right. Let's close a couple of these. We'll get rid of the hot pink in a second. What we want to do is, I'm just going to close all of these. We'll refine this. So in reality, we don't want this bigger than, let's say, 35 pixels. And no higher than 35 pixels. Let's go down to, all right, 35 pixels. Now this is too big. Okay. Yes. Oh shit, that's clearly been dark for a while now. All right. So, the one problem is, can I click on that and it won't actually open up that, which is also a problem. So I'm gonna scratch this before. That's perfectly fine. What I wanna do is I wanna do a label first. I'm just gonna key in here, label for, and we're just gonna go in here and we're just gonna go nav bar search input. All right, and I'm just going to type in navbar in here. We've got to go down here and go ID equals navbar search input. These match up like that, and then if we go over here and we click on that, notice how we can all of a sudden go into here and we're like, yay! If we look at HTML accessibility, oh, actually, no, I've got Axe installed. Yep. So elements must permit to, so that's the div class, view div tools. That's not part of me. Yeah, all right, cool. Yep, that's definitely a problem. I'm trying to think. Yeah, no socks. No socks. Yeah, so we've got the label. And that should all be, once again, in a row, and we're all happy with that. The label itself is a little up there. But it gives us the ability when we click on it to do all of that. We can have the ARIA labels on a label, I do believe. Label, ARIA, label. So a string that a value that can be used to name as an element as long as the element does not prefer naming. So we've got all of that. And yeah, okay, that will be button close. All right, cool. Yeah. The other day when we did this, yeah, they did something like that. But when we inspect it, they got, yeah, the SVG afterwards. Yeah, I know socks. No socks. No. No. Now the reason why I want to pick a use a label is if someone clicks on that hourglass, it'll still go straight into the input. And that's the reason why. Socks, what's the matter? No. Alright, Alt, search. Alright, cool. So the screen reader should pick that up. There's no image there. No socks. No, what's the matter? Come on. What? All right. Now that's gonna, yeah, it's gonna do like that, which is a bit annoying. Which is why we should bring this image out a little bit better. So, or define them. So what I could do is I could do .profile, navbar.profile, and then I think it's just space image. Whoa, careful, socks. And that will still work on that. And as you can, this doesn't have any of those styles connected to it. So if we want, then I've got to do .navbar search, and then I've got to do label, and then I've got to do image. So it goes down in the CSS and stuff like that, and then socks, will you stop causing trouble? And then I'm going to do width. I'm going to do 10 pixels. I'm going to do height 10 pixels. I'm going to leave it at that. We should have a really super tiny one right now. We're going to play with it. So the other stuff I want to do is, let's bring that up to 20. All right, we're just gonna go margin auto. Doesn't work in a label. Yeah, that's the problem. we don't want to rotate. We want to. I'm trying to remember it. I want to translate Y. And we want to translate it something like that, and then we want to do color white. All right, that won't work. Well, that's not a problem. We've got something there now. All right, current color, stroke width 2. Feather. All right, cool. I'm just bumping these across like that. So. I'm just seeing all of that. We do have current color set in here. And, oh, I was meant to change that. Give me 2 seconds. Let's go back into the nav bar. We're going to go right here. We're going to go 20, piss off, 20. We want the transform down, but we also want the color. But I think it's gonna be other. All right, I'm just gonna CSS SVG color for the lines. Changing the stroke color for inline. All right, cool. Highlight, fill, none. Stroke width 3. Stroke. All right, cool. Might be just So stroke white. Right. Not doing what I wanted, but. Other thing I can do is I could just copy this and put this in here. Damn it. There we go. All right. And then it's going to be search. I don't know if that's best practice at all. And then we've got the say, all right, cool. And then down here, it'll no longer be image, it'll be SVG. And if we go back over here, it's gonna be like up there, which is still annoying, but it's color white. All right, cool. We get to control that up here. We can just go color white. Now the other thing is, with the label, I'm just gonna hit refresh. The label, yeah, it doesn't have that attribute. So I do need to transform, translate Y, and I think it was 10 pixels. Maybe not. Let's go 8 pixels. Yeah, that's close enough. Another thing I've noticed is with this one, it's the same color as the placeholder text, yet when you type something in it isn't. It's like that, so we're going to copy that. That just means that I've got to go down here, and we picked gray for that default color, like something like that. Easy done. So there's our little search button, and we can tweak it and so forth like that. Like if we don't like the sort of size of it, we can shrink it down, and we can get rid of the height attribute because we don't need it as much. And then we can sort of line everything up like that. And the best thing is we've got a translate function. We can also do something like this, where we can move it slightly away, which I like. I'm not gonna lie, I like that. I'm just gonna go into here. We're gonna make those changes. So that is on this. So we're going to get rid of that. I think it was 3 pixels. Yeah, 3 pixels at 8 pixels. It was, now we've got the width like that. Well, I didn't like it, so we're gonna pick 17. We're just gonna hit refresh. I've mucked something up somewhere. It probably wasn't 8 pixels. It was, I was going to say 6 and -2. All right, so we're happy with that. So now that we've got that, it gives us the ability when someone clicks on that to sort of do that. Now I'm just having a look at the class view. I'm not in control of the view dev tools, but that's okay. Must have a lang attribute. All right, that's perfectly fine. This is just this is literally just Linux. Sorry, this is just our test sort of thing. So it's not complaining about that at all. It's not complaining about that. So that's the search bar done. Now we could add in a user over here with the name and so forth like that. They had it like in here with all of that and then something separated like that. I'm not for the moment. I'm gonna keep it simple. So the other thing I'm going to implement is, let's implement the sidebar, but also at the same time I need to tell the system when the sidebar is in or not. So Vuex, we're going to go into Pinia. We're going to get started for this. We are we're just going to install Pinya. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to go npm install. We're saving it to the dev sort of stuff. Oops, I mucked that up. Npm install, save to dev. I'm going to do that. Shouldn't take too long to install. There you go, done. We're going to go npm run dev again. Cool. We're all happy with that. We're going to go back over here. We need to, if you're using the Vue CLI, you can get the unofficial plugin try, create a Pinya instance, the root store. All right, cool. So I am. This will actually be store. All right. Or state, I should say. Oh no, store works. Yeah. All right, with the app plugin, this is the Vue one. I'm just going to go into the Vite config. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. Oops. Go Vite, and I'm going to do that. It comes back here. I don't know all of that yet. In order to install that, I don't know if I've got the. All right, let's minimize everything. Let's open up what we've got open. So, got all of this config. Okay, cool. We've got the source. Yeah, we've got the main types. This is the main type. Yeah, all right. No, I know where I am now. All right, we need to actually install it here. Cool, so we've just installed it. We now need to implement it into here. So we're just gonna go like that. So we're just gonna paste that in. We're gonna be happy with that. We've got the app.appView. Yep, we're happy. We've got the router in there. We're gonna create a Pinya before the const app. So that's gonna go in here. I'm gonna give some space in between there. So we've got it running before, and then we've got to use it before the mount, like that. All right. So that one's done. Then what is a store? Yeah, we know what a store is. A store, like Pinya, is an entity holding state, business logic that isn't bound to your components tree. In other words, it hosts global state. It's a bit like a component that is always there and everyone can read off and write to it. Yeah, cool. There's 3 components: the state, getters, and action. Sweet. Which Vuex used to have 4. So it used to have getters, setters, action, and state. And the idea is you didn't use the setters unless it was something simple, and instead you use the actions, because if there's any business logic, you're doing an action, you're not. Yeah. To store data that can be accessed throughout your application, which is what we're doing in this sort of case, including data that is used in many places, which is what we're doing in this sort of case. User information that is displayed on the nav bar, which is, yep, all right, cool, as well as data that needs to be preserved throughout pages, e.g. a very complicated multi-step form. Yep. On the other hand, you should avoid including in the store local data that could be hosted in a component instead. Yeah, fair enough. The visibility of an element to a local page. Yep. Not all applications need access to a global state. Yep. Cool. All right. Sometimes we end up using a store for too many things. If you feel like your application is overusing stores, you might want to reconsider the purpose of your stores, namely if some of the logic should be composables or if their state should be local to a component. Fair enough. That is covered in depth, not to over. Yep. Fair enough. And we'll also be having a look at that too. Luckily for us, we already know a couple of... So we'll still need the static file locations because that might not be your server that we're storing that, where you're getting that data from. That might be a CDN that you set up. So we'll still need that, but we no longer will need the root directory. We'll still need the, well, we can get the destination from the route itself, and we can potentially get the location ID from the route itself. So we'll probably be removing those. Those were bits of data that we, in the current NearBeach, is stored in the state management system because it's used pretty much everywhere. All right, defining a store. So before diving into more core concepts, we'll need to know what a store is. Define store. All right, cool. Is there a boilerplate similar to the views option API? You can also pass object with state actions and getter properties. So define store counter. All right, cool. Now that's in JavaScript. I'm assuming it's the same in TypeScript. There's also another possibility of syntax to define store. Similar to the view composition API setup function, we can pass in a function that defines a relatively. All right, so you can define store, we've got that, and then we've got the object in there. Otherwise, we've got the define stores counter, pass through stuff. All right. I'm probably going to use this particular layout, so we're going to copy that. Now, I don't know how to register a store in here yet, but we'll figure out. So set up stores. All right, cool. Define stores, search function. Note that you must return all state properties in the setup stores for Pinia to pick them up. In other words, you cannot have private state properties in stores. Not returning all state properties or making them read only will break SSR. Yep, DevTools and other plugins. Yep. Setup stores bring a lot more flexibility than option stores, as you can create watches within a store and fully use any composables. However, keep in mind that using composables will get more complex when using SSRs. Yep, fair enough. Setup stores are also able to rely on globally provided properties like router or the route suite, which is, yeah, we'll probably need that. Any property providing at the app level can be accessed from the store using inject. All right. Okay, warning, do not return properties like route or app provided from the example above, as they do not belong in the store itself. Yep. Which syntax should I pick? As the Vue's composable API and options API, pick the one you feel most comfortable with. Sweet. Both have their strengths and weaknesses. Options stores are easier to work with, whilst app stores are more flexible and powerful. If you want to dive deeper into the difference, I'll probably do the other one. Now, using a store, defining a store, because the store won't be created until useStore is called within the component, easy done, or within the setup, like all composables. Now, I'm assuming when we do a lot of this, we'll need something that's global. That's used on every single page. We need to do it higher up. Yeah, all right. If you're not using setup components yet, you can still use map helpers. All right, cool. Deconstructing from a store. In order to extract properties from the store while keeping its reactivity, you'll need to use store to refs. It will create refs for every reactive property. This is useful when you are only using state from a store but not calling any action. All right, you can destruct actions directly from the store as they are bound to the store itself too. All right, cool. Yeah, we'll use this one. And what I'll do, right-hand click, store, we're going to do a new file. What are we going to call this? This would be navigation store, but what have they called their files? Oh, I'm kind of curious. Give me a couple of seconds. I'm just going to get getting started. Oh yeah, we read that one. They're just lowercase, everything. All right, cool. So what I want to do is this would be called sidebar. Are they calling it sidebar? Oh yeah, sidebar. TS. I'm just pasting this in. Yeah, definitely. They've got it under stores. Rename that to stores. In this sort of case, we're just going to call it sidebar.ts. So use store definition, define stores. This will be sidebar. In here, it'll have the state, it'll return, and in this sort of case, it'll be a boolean. I'm just going to bump that open like that. What we're going to do is sidebar open, and by default, I'm just going to say default is going to be true. And then could also be defined as something like that. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. The actions would be to, in this case, if it's open, you want to close it. We don't want a function called close it, because then we've got to figure out if it's open or shut. I need a name that defines the opposite of if we're going to open or shut it. Toggle sidebar, easy done. That makes perfect sense. So what that means is it's going to be this dot is sidebar open. It's just the opposite of that. And then that's pretty much it for the moment. So yeah, they'll toggle it on and off. Okay, cool, cool. And then in the nav bar, okay, yep. And then when you use a component, yeah, you just call it through. You can even use a function similar to the setup to define the store for more advanced cases. All right, yep. Cool. If you're still not into setup and composable API, don't worry. API also supports the map helpers. Yep. Which they use map stores. Which means we're probably going to be moving to the compositional API in the near future. No problem. So more realistic example. All right, cool. All right, let's just... Yeah, I only did it like this tonight because I was like, all right, I'm too tired. That's all. So what I want to do is, we've got that. We've got the const user define store user. All right, cool. Then down here. And Marmik, how you going? Hopefully you're going well. Yeah, long time. So I want to, under here, we'll have computed. We'll have ... map stores. And then we're importing the, now this says counter use store. If I go to my store itself, wherever I put it, I don't know where, sidebar, const use counter store, that will be, we always have to have use to indicate. You doing good? Oh, that's good to hear. Caught up in your work? Oh, even better. I don't know if we've got to use here. So, I'm just gonna keep it. I've got to check out the definitions and all that kind of stuff. This would be use store. Just gonna undo all that just to make sure I'm not. Yep. Use, and this will be sidebar store. All right, and then define sidebar in here. And then what I got to do is in the nav bar, I got to do that. Sorry, we're figuring out whatever it's called, Python at the moment. So yeah, Vuex is no longer the default, and I'm like, I've got to move to this now. Actually, one of the senior devs is switching companies, so I am the one who handles the loads now. Does it come with a pay rise? Because if it came with a pay rise, that would be awesome. If it didn't, that's annoying. But also at the same time, cool. Means you're stepping up in the world. Yay! All right. I am. Gives access to the and this. All right. We just need read-only access in this sort of case. So I'm just gonna paste that in over here. We're just gonna do something like that. The computed is actually not a function, and I've been silly. It's that. I also need to import this, the map state. And it should be, yeah, import that from there. And then use count store. That's got to be imported. Should be use sidebar store. There we go. That's up there. That's all fine. The map state. Why are you complaining? Don't do that. That was terrible. There we go. All right. Sometimes these hints are just terrible. It's like, no. I got 2 extension suggestions, material, icon, themes, and error lens. Okay. Reasonable hike, you're happy. Okay, that's good. That's great news. Material, icon, themes. Oh, for I'm using PyCharm. So yeah, sadly I won't be. I don't think I can install this, but it looks neat. What was the other one? And error lens. I'll zoom in. Okay. I can see these. Yeah, I don't think they are. I don't even know how to get into the plugin side of things. Give me a couple of seconds. Might be down here. Language services, no. Go to line, no. To do database, AI chat, no. Plugins. Oh wait, you typed it out right in front of me. Material. Icons. Got the atom material icons. That's for the atom one again. And error lens. Yeah, I think these are different plugins. But yeah. Oh well, I'm not too worried about the icons over here. So yeah. All right. Let's get back into it. So we've got the map stores, we've got the map state, so that gives read access, and then we need the methods. So that will be methods. And then in here we'll have map stores, and then use sidebar store. And how do they have it? They've got it, yeah, and then we'll in here have toggle. Sidebar. Yeah, I've just got to add that in. So that would be also map stores. Easy done. Oh wait. Map actions. My bad. There we go. That should work. The computers. Give this to counter store, and this will be in this .user store. Give read access to this .count and this .double. All right, cool. Yep, that's what we want. Now that toggle will be something completely and utterly different. Where did I put my, there it is. So this is toggle sidebar, so we'll just copy that. We'll go over back into the nav bar and we'll paste it in. And that works perfectly fine. All right, sweet. So, what we want to do is I'm going to rebind the class. I'm just going to cut that one out, and I'm going to go. I do use Git. It's just that these particular projects themselves at the moment are just playgrounds. So I'm not going to put them anywhere. Because with 032, I'm getting rid of a lot of the technical debt for NearBeach, and what I want to do is, it's a big, massive refactor, and I'm going to be upgrading what I've been using. So we'll no longer be using VueJS, we'll be using this Pinia solution. We'll probably also be moving away from the options API for the Vue into the composables API for Vue. So yeah, at the moment, this is all just me playing around with it, because it doesn't matter if I make a big mistake. At the end of the day, it's a sandbox project, yeah. So I'm all ears with this project. What I need to do is I'm going to go nav var class, and we're going to set up in the methods up here. Actually, is this part of the method, or this will be part of the computed? Nav var class, and I keep forgetting if this is meant to be in here. I'll just put it down here. Nav var class. Like that, and then depending, I'm just going to return this straight away. Actually, it will be let class equal. This is where I class string equal that. I'm going to do that, and then this is a ternary object. This is, yeah, we can do this in one line. Return. All right, so this will be a this dot. Now it's not counting double that we've got up here. This will be is sidebar open. If it is open, what we want to do is we'll have that, and then we'll have sidebar open. Otherwise, it's just going to be something like that. And that's it. And I do believe that's meant to go into the computed. Do you think Germany is a good choice for masters and settling there? I've never been. I wouldn't mind going to Germany, but yeah, I've just never been. Yeah, and I sadly don't know anyone who's been over there. Not recently. My father went over there for about, I think, 3 or 4 months back in the 90s, and he loved it. But yeah, that was 30 years ago, so quite some time ago. All right, so this is where my memory absolutely fails me at times. I keep forgetting if that's meant to be a computer or a class type of thing. Because it's part of the reactive, and because part of it's, yeah. At the moment, I'm just going to leave it like that. You're thinking for double masters and data science. Oh, fair enough. Okay. Yeah, data science is actually really, really interesting, especially if you love sort of figuring out sort of, for example, how many people did something or this or that, or how much of the population has been affected due to certain policies, or if low socioeconomic status is growing or contracting, crime rates, and so forth like that. So yeah, very interesting if you love data. All right. Let's see if I've broken everything. Yes, I have. All right, not a problem. Don't panic. So in here, we don't have any data. So yeah, I think I've put it in the wrong spot. I think my second guessing has made me go crazy, and I meant to put it in the compute option because we got something reactive in it. I was stellar students in statistics, and I can do a little good math. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, do it. There's a lot of data science positions out there. So yeah, banks, a lot of industries and so forth like that, universities, marketing, anywhere where they need to crunch data. Yep. Anyway, we're back. So in here, we've got the nav bar, and then we've got the nav bar sidebar open. So I'm going to do something. So in here, we're going down to the CSS. Ooh, search bar search. What happened to you? Oh, yeah, you're just part of that. And then, yeah, search bar is open. Yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, no, you're fine. Search bar search. That one's fine. What we're going to do is when something changes, and we're going to go nav bar search and dot, what is it? It's sidebar open. I've just copied and pasted it because knowing me in my tired state, I am going to copy something wrong. What we want to do now is we want to actually do the width differently. So we're going to go width, and we're going to go calculate. We're going to do 100%. Yeah, because this will be part of the nav bar. 150,000. Wow, vacancies each year are left vacant in DS, data science. Done my research. There we go. Yeah, that's actually kind of cool. So yeah, that's a lot of vacancies. Internal CSS, yeah, so this CSS is only for this one particular component. Once again, this is just me playing around with this, seeing if this is any better than what I was doing with the Tailwind the other day. Yeah, just playing around with it. So we're going to take off that many pixels, and we're going to see what actually happens over here. Now, that is done at this level. And in reality, it doesn't make sense doing it at that level. All right, I'm going to scratch that. Let's get rid of that. Whoops. Let's scroll back up here. Let's now the nav bar itself. Hold on a second. Let's do 60 view width. I can just do that there. All right. Class equals vbind. Hang on. Let's get rid of this vbind first. Let's bring this one back down. Okay, so that's back to normal. And what we're going to do, yeah, navbar class still makes sense. Oh, socks, be careful. We're going to do sidebar open, otherwise we're going to do nothing. Like that. And then down here, we're going to go vbind class equals navbar class. We're going to be happy with that. I think that tailwind is just slightly a bit better than external CSS slightly. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I did use Tailwind the other day with another sandbox, and we got quite far with it. This one I'm doing a lot more work. If I were to, here she is. There we go. I'll put her front and center. If I wouldn't use pure CSS. If I were to do this, I'll try and use Sass in here somewhere, somehow. So I've got that nested layer happening. But yeah, I'll figure it out. Once again, this is just me playing around. I'd rather do these play arounds before I actually start 032. Just because I don't want any more technical debt. I want to get stuff done and have a look at it, be like, all right, these are going to be the problems I face. This is how I'm going to have to work around it. This is what I need to change and so forth like that. So yeah. One advantage is you don't have to come up with stupid class names. Yes. Yes. 100% agree. But the other disadvantage is your class names get really, really long. And that was happening last night too, and I couldn't find the class which I couldn't remove. However, that being said, also inserting extra classes and removing classes are done trivially in JavaScript. So it's, whereas here I'm doing a vbind on that to sort of manipulate stuff, and yeah. All right, so what we want to do is we've got sidebar open, and then we want the width to be 100. We're just going to do 60 view width. This is just as an example. We're going to refresh this page, so that is working how we want it to. I'm going to see if the view tools allow me to edit the state. I'm going to go sidebar to do. Can I? No. Oh, yes, I can. There we go. As you see, we can do stuff like that. All right, awesome. Yeah, it was very huge. Oops. Want to take a screenshot. What I want to do is I want to do calc. We're going to start off with 60 pixels. We'll figure this out. Okay, cool. So we know this is going to work. The next thing to do is we're going to get the sidebar in. All right. Yeah. And the other reason why I'm doing it in CSS and all that kind of stuff, and in Vue, and at the moment more properly than I did the other day, is I want to see how easy it is to actually toggle it on and off. The other things I want to have a look at is when it's in mobile mode, I don't want it pushing everything across. I want it to overlay on the mobile. So it'll act differently. We're not programming from the mobile today. We'll do the desktop, and what we'll do is we'll go back and have a look at the mobile and have a look at good points at what size we want to do that, and yeah, all that kind of fun stuff. I've also got to figure out where to put that icon on here, which we can easily do. And how it will sort of disappear too. So yeah, once again, we'll figure this out. This is just us sandboxing this out. Yeah. So in here, what we want to do, sidebar open, nav, all right, cool. I'm all happy with this. We're gonna now do a sidebar. I've never done a sidebar before. I don't know how they act. Let's just see how it's done. So going in here, we've got the sidebar. I'm just going to go to the simpler versions. I'm going to scroll all the way up to have a look at this sidebar. So we've got a side, and that's actually as a tag. All right. Actually, I'm just going to read the documents. I'm going to do that so you guys can also see it. So the A-side HTML element represents a portion of the document whose content is only indirectly related to the document's main content. A-sides are frequently presented as sidebars and call-out boxes. Sweet, sweet. Cool. Attributes. This element only includes the global attributes. Sweet. Usage notes. Do not use the A-side element to tag percentages. All right, cool. Examples. This example. Results. All right, play. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, whatever. Something happened. So in here, we want to go a side. I'm not going to worry too much about the class name here at the moment. Actually, no, I will. And the Coppager, thank you very much for the sub. So welcome, welcome. How are you? The camera's down here now, not up there because I've been a bit lazy and I haven't moved my monitors around, and yeah, they're down there. Yeah, I can't complain. We are. Please ignore how bad this looks at the moment, but we're trying to redesign NearBeach. And also with that, we're also looking at removing a lot of the technical debt. This is just us playing in a sandbox at the moment, just picking some random colors and stuff like that and putting things on the screen and seeing how we're going to implement that in the future. So yeah. How's your night going? It must be late there now. You're 2 hours ahead of me, I think. Yeah, 2 hours. Bedtime. Oh, fair enough. Should have been my bedtime hours ago. So, yeah. But yeah, I'm having also a look at Penia, which is essentially now the new default state management for Vue, and yeah, doing all that kind of fun stuff. It's like Christmas in India, Diwali season. Oh, what's that? And I know you guys are, it's recently changed, I think 4 hours behind me. Oh, you're 3:30. Hang on, it's 9 o'clock. 6 hours, I'm well off. All right. Oh, nice. Cool. looks awesome. It's the Christmas of India. Oh, nice. Yeah. Do you get like a massive holiday? All right, now I just got to jump up here. We've got to, all right, we're going to pull it like that. So import, we want to go use sidebar store. What to do? Constant is use store. All right. Const, that will be sidebar store equals that. And then all right. Yeah, socks. Are you gonna say hi? Hi to everyone. There it goes, sweetie. Yeah. Don't be antisocial. All right, so this is using the composable API, if I've said that right. And what we want to do is we want to see how it runs in here like that. Now, with the aside, we're also going to have a method. I'm just wondering with the view 3. This is part of now the computed stuff, the old sort of document computed properties. No, I'm thinking of the wrong thing. No, hang on. Computed. The reactivity API. That's the old stuff, isn't it? Yeah. Read only, function. Oh no, this is the new stuff, I think. Hang on. Yeah, she is. Except when she's been very demanding. And I'm just like, it's 3 in the morning, socks. I need to sleep. All right, view 3, composable API. Compositional API, sorry, not composable. API computed. All right, so in the template, expressions are very convenient, but they are meant to simple load it up. All right, cool, yep. That's how we used to do it. And I'm just wondering if I did this the other day. Socks down. Stuff that. No, naughty. Yeah. All right, give me 2 seconds. Reactivity, API utilities. All right, unref to ref to value to aria. Yep. All right, cool. Is proxy is read only. What did I do the other day? Yeah, I've used VueJS in the past. Nothing exciting. It was literally just drawing a sphere with X amount of points on it. The more harder part about that is for n being a real whole number, it is not guaranteed that you can space the points on a sphere equally from each other. And to calculate it is really, really expensive. However, that being said, there is a cheat. What you do is you essentially have a 1x1 grid. I think you space them evenly on that, and then you wrap it around the sphere, and it's good enough. So yeah. Yeah, it's actually rather cool too. Back when I was playing around with it, someone did a small little car game and stuff like that. So yeah, it was amazing seeing all of that run in the browser. All right, I've absolutely forgotten how to reactivity utilities core. So we've got the functions, we've got the interface, computed. Do we just do something like that? Now, yeah, we're just doing something as simple as that. I don't think we need something more complicated than that. So I'm just going to place that in just as an example. Let's go into here. It'll be const, and what it'll be is a side, and this will be class equals computed. And then what we want to do is sidebar store dot is sidebar open. We want to do sidebar open and all that kind of stuff, and then that should be it. I do believe, yes, we need to import the computed module in. So I'm just going to go to number 2. We're just going to go import the computed from the view stuff. There we go. Now that's going to complain because we're not going to be using it or something like that. So I want to rebind the class equals that. That's now not going to have a problem. Yeah. There were other stuff in there too, but they've since changed it, which is good because there's a lot more people doing stuff on it. There was one little block, city block, like a little tiny corner, which I really like that one, but I can't see it at the moment. That one was by far my favorite. Yeah, I don't see it. I see something similar. Oh, I really like that example. Oh, it might be under examples. There it is. All right. It was under examples. Yeah, I really like this one. This is by far my favorite. The amount of detail in it and stuff like that. And that's buttery smooth on my screen. And the fact that you can zoom in. 1950. Can't read those out. Yeah. That was by far my favorite. Bruno Simon. Oh. Two seconds. All right, I'm gonna put that up there for the moment. All right, so we've got the computer done. Oh, I'm just gonna, all right, cool, yeah, done. Whee. I'm just gonna have fun now, you know? But yeah, no, it's a really cool tool. I haven't played around much with it since then, which is a bit of a pity. But yeah. I did it as a test sort of thing at my last job, seeing if we could potentially use it for interactive websites and stuff like that. So yeah. All right, we'll just get back to this. So, the first thing is, I'm just going to put hello world in here. Reason being, we just need something in there. I am going to go into here. We're going to go aside. Actually, no. just use wasn't. I was just using those. All right. What was I doing? I don't know. What is the time? It is getting late. Oops. I will probably be ending soon, but I just want to get this out here, and then I want to be able to toggle it. So you can probably see the cogs ticking at the moment. What did I want to do? What did I want to do? I want to go in here. I want to go aside. Now, when these are closed, what are we adding to it? I keep forgetting which one I was looking at the other day. All right, expand code. This is draw navigation. Okay, and then it just pops out. So this is left. If I click on that, does it actually update the code down here? Probably not. Oops, I didn't want to go to there. I'm thinking of making my portfolio with a few 3D components, not too much heavy work. Oh, fair enough. It'll definitely stand out. Definitely will stand out. All right. I'm just trying to think how I could make that class come in and out. At the moment, default display none. And then what we want to do is sidebar open is display. We'll bump it into flex. We'll go flex direction is going to be a column. Everything will go top down. We'll also do the width being at, I'm just going to do 100 pixels to start off with. We'll play around with this. So going back into here, we've got a bad tag. All right. In the sidebar. Yeah, it's still there. Oh, you know why? Because that. All right, so we've got the hello world. We are also up here. We're going to set all the properties for this. We're going to go background color. That was that color from before. As you see, it's like that. We are also going to move the width up into here. So the width will be like that. We'll go, the height is going to be 100 view height. So that's going to be all of that. Whoops. All of that. It's going to be position fixed. It's going to be top 0 and left 0. So it's going to be up there like that. I've also got the nav bar. How with the nav bar, got to do that sidebar is open stuff. All right. So let's just play around with this. Let's just inspect that. Let's just 500 is too much, 400 too much, 300 not enough, probably enough. And let's have a look at these ones over here. Let's just do a not on the iframe. It won't let me go down a tiny amount. Come on, Firefox. Here we go. They've got it as 288, which I think will be good. 288. Oh, well, 280, I should say. So we go into this, we go, all right, cool. This is going to be 280. So it's going to be like that. Everything sort of lines up perfectly fine. Awesome. So our next thing to do is to get the logo at the top, followed by those other button options. And we're going to use, this is where I'll need to look at accessibility and stuff like that for navbar menus and stuff like that, whether to use buttons, this or that, and so forth like that. I use Comet these days. Cool browser, oh, fair enough. I'm still using Firefox. It has its days. All right. So that's working how we want it to. Now, another thing which I had a thought about the other day is I should be using probably a single logo in there instead of logo and text, just to make life easier for me. And what I was thinking is, if we go to the NearBeach org site, is I was thinking of having the text kind of like that in SVG with the SVG logo next to it. Yeah, that's all. You know, I've got to figure out how to do that though. So up here will be the logo. What we want to do is, I'm just going to get rid of that. I'm just going to, in here, do another class. I'm going to go div class equals a sidebar in here. And this is where we're going to put in dot sidebar. This is where we're going to put in the padding and all that kind of fun stuff that we need to put in here. For example, display flex. Flex direction is going to be column, which means I am going to get rid of that there, and I'm just going to put that as a block. So that should pop in as a block. Perfect. It's a browser made by Perplexity, basically AI searches for you. Oh, okay, well, fair enough. All right, so we've got that now. Then in here, what I'll have is the div class equals the logo. Or I should put in NearBeach logo. And then I'm going to put in an ARIA label. And I'm going to put in NearBeach logo. And that's just so people can find it. So, yeah. I will. Do I have the NearBeach logo on here? Probably I don't, but not a problem. We have it here. We'll just save it. All right, we're going to go into source assets. We're just going to place the logo in there. That's perfectly fine. Then down here, we've got .NearBeach logo. We're going to go background image. We're going to put in URL. We're going to do single quotes. We're going to go assets .NearBeach logo SVG. We're going to go image. what was it again? It was I'm terrible with remembering all these attributes off the top of my head. Object fit. Object fit should be contain. If we go back to here, we don't have anything yet. That's probably because I haven't set a width and a height yet. So if I do 280 pixels for the moment, we're actually going to shrink. Actually, it will be 100% width. All right. And then I do the height being, let's say, 90 pixels. We'll fix this up in a second. There we go. Perfect. Now we've just done contain. So that contains all of them, but the thing is, it's on repeat, and there is another one being, so object position we'll also need repeating linear gradient. No, so we just need contain, not cover. I've just saw it and I've absolutely forgotten what it is. Object position. We don't need that. Background repeat, there we go. All right, sorry, all these CSS attributes, I always have to look them up. There we go, perfect. So if we have a look at this now, it's there. Well, we don't want it that big. Socks. No. Sorry, she's having a go at another one at Patty. Yeah, I've been using Ubuntu for a long time now. I've been using Linux for, oh god, over 2 decades. I started using it in 2.4, the kernel. A lot of like coding like this, but McComfy emphasizes us to just let Windsurf do its thing, just write the prompts and let it code. I'd be like, yeah, I like doing this because it gives me the option to play around with stuff and so forth like that. And the more I look up attributes and so forth like that, the more I remember them over time, and then the less I need to do this with AI and stuff like that. It's good for getting boilerplate out there. However, it does fail. It does hallucinate quite a lot. So yeah, there's been times where I've had issues. All right, so this logo doesn't actually have any classes attached to it. There it goes. Oh no, hang on. Let's go inspect this. So, oh no, there it is. And then no repeat, object fit. Oh. Object position. Oh, all right. Background position. Hey. All right. No, I've got the things wrong. So it's not object fit, not object position. It will literally be background position centered. There we go. We don't need it at 90 pixels. I'm just going to bump it down to, not that big, down to that, and there we go. So with this, we're now going to line up all of this and so forth like that. The idea being is when I actually do the proper logo and so forth like that, I'll shove it in. The worst thing is that it applies different terminology each time. Like if it made a certain component a certain way, it was going to use a completely different way to make a different one. Yeah, I've been hearing that. All right, and yeah, you do want it to be consistent. So I'm just gonna do, I think, it's like I'm raising a kid and it's fixing its mess. Yeah, I can, yep. I can definitely see that. All right, oops. I forgot what number we picked. I'm going to do 27. Yeah, that's good enough. All right. Now, with the sidebar, we don't have any padding at the top. With this bar itself, I kind of want to line everything up. So the other thing I could potentially do is increase this until it lines up perfectly. So that's about 45 pixels. And I'm like, all right, cool. I can do 45 pixels. That's not going to be a problem. But then what I could do is I can add in padding. Oh, padding doesn't work. Margin. Now the thing is, it's going to add it on all sides and it's going to do that, which is not what I want. No, all right. So if I were to do this simply, to get the logo to line up, so let's bump this back down to 27. That will be right there. I'm gonna be happy with that. I could just add a bit of padding to the top one. Claude Sonnet 4 is amazing. Agent, it's just that I like to do most of the things myself. Yeah. Socks, will you stop destroying stuff? She's like, no. All right, what we want is padding on the top. We'll need it everywhere, but we'll do, let's say, 10 pixels. So 12 pixels. On both sides, we're going to do 4 pixels, and on the bottom we'll leave it like that. All right, cool. So I like that. So that will be on the... Oh, that could be along there. All right, yep. So I'm gonna go padding, 12 pixels and then 4 pixels, and we're happy. If you'll see the stats of Windsurf, everyone has 99% code written by an agent. Thankfully, I've got 42. What is Windsurf? I don't know. Okay. Now, there's that. So, as you can see, we've got the logo. It lines up almost right. Slightly off. That's going to annoy me. All right, not a problem. I'll do 10. We'll refresh. We'll hit that this here, and we'll hover over it. All right, I think it lines up really well. Okay, cool. So the next thing we've potentially got to do is Let's do the div class. This will be the aside bar menu. And then we'll have one at the bottom, div class equals aside bar. And then we're going to go settings at the bottom. And what I want to do is with the aside bar, the aside bar menu, we're going to do width at 100%, which is going to be good. And then the aside bar settings, we're going to do a height. I just realized that's meant to be height at 100%. And this one down here, I'm not going to do anything with it yet. Sorry, because I need to move your. So aside, the aside bar, flex direction column. Yep, that's going to work like that. And what I want to do is now add in some buttons. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to have a look at the code we did the other day. No, I'm just going to jump into here, see what Bootstrap has. So yeah, they got something like that. They just use ULs and list items. Okay. The way that you didn't even open the site tells me, yeah, I don't. It's good for doing. It's kind of like Wikipedia. It's good for doing some initial sort of search and stuff like that. Sort of asking it to do some boilerplate stuff, or for it to sort of explain some documentation. The problem is it gets a lot wrong. Especially if you use some frameworks that are changing. So in Braco, which is a CMS, not a framework, that has changed drastically since Braco 8. That, you know, when you actually query it and stuff like that, it's just giving you absolutely wrong information. It's like, oh yeah, you can use this particular method and so forth like that, and you're like, that method doesn't exist, and it's like, oh yeah, they deprecated in Braco 12, and it just never existed. So yeah, it's been a little bit more work using it than it has been helpful. Then again, I use it more for my weaknesses. So for example, writing out documentation and stuff like that, I will use it to help me sort of be like, oh, okay, cool, I can sort of frame what I'm trying to say like that and so forth like that, but I still write the words. I just use it for sort of an inspirational jumping board. All right, how are these set up? These are just A classes in unsorted lists and stuff like that. All right, cool. They're all unsorted lists. All right, and list items, unsorted lists. Yep, and then, all right, cool. So what I want to do is, I'm just going to put it in a couple of items. So unsorted list class equals a sidebar menu list, and then we'll have, let's say, a list item in here. That'll be a class equals sidebar menu item, and then we'll put something in here like dashboard. Once again, we're just doing this very, very quickly. We'll have dashboard, Kanban board. We'll have requirements. We'll also have projects and tasks. And oops. request for changes. Then down here, we'll do a very similar thing. We'll have unsorted list. Now this is going to be under the settings. Yeah, I'm going to go do, and then I'm going to go list. So it's going to be slightly different, but it's going to be like that. All right, cool. And we're just going to have settings in there. I use it for docs and to write me a good commit message and research. Fair enough. Is that peacock? Different colors of level of indentation? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. All right, so we've got all that. We got that. We got that. Now this should. There you go. It's just rendering it all out like that. What we want to do is, I keep forgetting what the bullseye is a CSS remove unsorted list bullets. I keep forgetting the exact term for what it's called. List style type. I have a terrible memory. Please forgive me. All right, so first up, we're going to copy this. I'm going to paste this in. We're also doing a comma to state that there'll be more than one object that's going to take these properties. I'm cheating at the moment by doing that. I also do a new line for this, and then we do something like that. Yeah, I went to hackathon once, and God, they made me addicted to mini extensions. Oh, fair enough. I try and keep my extensions as light as possible. So I haven't always had the fastest computers. Back when I first started streaming, I was on my old computer, which is the NAS now, in my living room. It got to the point where I was typing out something, I would literally stop. I had said what I was going to type as I was typing it, and we just all watched the characters go across the screen. And then I had to use a different IDE, and even then that was slow, and then I ended up using another IDE, which was a lot lighter, but less features and so forth like that. And then I got myself my M1. So yeah, I don't have that many plugins because I don't want that happening again. All right, so the first thing we've got to do is an absolute list style type. It's going to be none. So we're happy with that. Cool. Now the other thing you'll notice is we've got a little bit of margin. I'm going to set a max width. You know the struggle, yeah. So yeah, I just try and keep things as lean as possible too. All right, so we've got to do the list. Unsorted lists. I go margin auto. And then padding none. All right, cool. And then oh no, it'll be width. Hey! Stop it. No. God damn it. Stop it. Hey. It's okay. Patty out. There you go. cat. He's outside. The joys of cats. So, yeah. No, you know, Max. No, in your bed. No. No. Up, you two no. No. The joys, I tell ya. Yeah, my partner's got a cat. I've also got another cat. My partner's cat is here. Usually Socks and Max get on well. However, they've been apart for quite some time. And yeah, they're just readjusting. It's the joys of the situation. So, yeah. Stop it. You're being silly. She's like, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. All right. What was I doing? Max, I was just doing a width. We've got it at 280. So let's do 260 pixels. That should give us something like that. Ooh, we can go less than that. Let's do 240. We're figuring this out as we go along. That gives us a lot of space to work with. So in here, we want width at 240 pixels. We also want to add on that padding up here. And that will be a sidebar settings. All right, cool. What did we set that as? You love cats? Oh, fair enough. So, yeah, it's okay, Socks. That's just Max. No, stop it. Already forgotten what I was doing. Joys of cats. So we've got the sidebar menu, and then we've got this. I'm gonna hit refresh. We've got all of those. Margin auto. All I gotta do down here. So margin auto. We need to get rid of the padding. That's what we need up here. So padding is just gonna be, we'll figure out if we need padding on the top. But at the moment, we're going to set that to 0. And I'm just going to refresh this. We're going to have a look. And Hypnotic Games, how are you going? Thank you very much for the raid. And how are you? How's your stream? Good day, good dunce. I laughed at that the other day. So yeah, you just missed the little cat fight on the stream. So Socks, who you can just see, has tried jumping across me to get to poor Patty, who's probably, you know, chased Max in here, being like, "Hey, I want to fight you." So yeah, was good. Got 2 more bobbles made. Ooh, nice. Figured out more save load stuff. Neat. So yeah, welcome everyone. I am Robotic Head. I'm working on a project management system. However, today we are trying to build a new UI UX type of thing. Please note, this is nowhere near a final product. This is just us getting shapes on the screen. Colors and all that kind of stuff will be figured out later. The idea with this is we're sort of testing what sort of frameworks we want to use and so forth like that, because there's going to be a massive refactor involved. Cat's been cats by the sound of it. Yes. Yeah, and sadly Socks just gets angry and stays angry for a while. And we've got another one in here called Max, who's a bit afraid of everyone at the moment. Okay, Socks, are you gonna calm down now? She's like, maybe. So yeah, essentially trying to rebuild a website, figuring out the design process today, and yeah. Imagine community pulls up to your stream and sees this. Oh god, yeah. At the moment, to be fair, the UI for NearBeach is very bootstrapian. I won't be able to. I can show the Kanban board. All right. So yeah, this is the Kanban board. This is the Kanban board that we actually used to build NearBeach. So all of these tickets are real tickets in here. As you can see, I'm not a designer at all. However, since I've built this, I've learned a lot, and I'm trying to I'm trying to do that knowledge into the new version, stuff like that. So yeah, it will take me a while. Let's just say that. All right, where was I? Yeah, I was getting all of that set up. I need the padding being 0, and yeah, the padding being 0. Hey, that's Max. No, you know Max. No, come here. Shoulder. No, you don't want the shoulder. Oh wow, she's really angry if she doesn't want the shoulder. All right, we want width being, we said 280, didn't we? No, 240 pixels. Those are, I've got the items in here. I was meant to put the list. Not lost, list. Menu settings, and I've got 2 settings in here. All right, cool. It's late at night, I'm tired. Cats are throwing spanners in the works. All right, so we got 240 there. We don't need the width on the items. We don't need that. We just put the margin up there. We've got the list style none there, which is what we want. If we hit refresh, I do apologize. I will actually do one thing. I'm just going to go color, and I spell it that way. I'm just going to pick that color at the moment, actually, just to annoy everyone. Hot pink. And there we go. All right, cool. Just so we can actually see stuff on the road. Don't get me to design stuff. So we've got that at the menu list. We've got that at the menu. I want a bit of padding up at the top first. So if I go in here, let's go padding. Let's go, we only want to apply this at the top. So I'm going to go padding top. Hey, Socks, can you stop with your tail? Let's start at 25 pixels. I think that's fine. All right, so height 100%, padding top is going to be 25 pixels, easy done. So there's that. What I want to do now is I want to separate these and make them look more like buttons. If we have a look in here, each of those items are fine. Cool. All right, NearBeach is fully view-based, so not quite. NearBeach also, the backend's on Django, and at the moment, the backend does quite a lot of the rendering too. So the view components handles most of the front end. It doesn't handle any of the navigation or anything like that. So yeah, I will be, when I do the refactor for 032, the routing will move from the back end into the front end, and the API will be fleshed out completely. So yeah. All right, so with each menu item, what we want to do is we're going to add in a slightly different color. So this is where we're going to go into our colors. We're going to pick, I'm going to pick teal green, and we're going to go down here. These are the items, yep, and we want to go background color, and we're going to do this. We're going to paste that in, and we're happy with that. We're also going to add in some padding. So I want to do, let's try 4 pixels at the moment. I want to also do text align center. And let's have a look. Looking a little bit better. Now we just got to space everything out. Once again, these colors are not are not the final product. They're just there to show how everything's sort of laid out and so forth like that. Now, what I want to do is I want to do a margin between each item, but I'm going to do a margin top, and I'm going to do 5 pixels. So now you can see they're somewhat splitting out into buttons. I'm going to do 7 pixels, and that's looking a lot better. Now the next thing I want to do is for the menu list, and it's only for the menu list, I'm going to do a height at 100%. So it's going to try and take up as much of this as possible. Now that didn't work how I wanted it to. Yeah, it stopped being that. All right. Ah, menu bar. I was meant to do it at. Oh, I got it there. Yeah, I do. Okay. That was a big fly. All right, so we got the menu bar. I'm going to do this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that. Ah, it's not a positional element. All right, cool. Not a problem. Oh, I think I figured it out. All right, height, 100%. Yeah, that's it. All right, however, we got to take out the padding and stuff like that. So that would be the sidebar. Actually, it will be the class itself. This one, flex direction alert. This will be height. This will be calc 100%, and we've got to minus the padding, which will be top and bottom, so that would be 20%. And then when we hit refresh, that is pretty close to the bottom. And then what I can do is with this one, I don't want that. If I want to add in a little bit more margin at the bottom, I can go margin, bottom, and I can add on another 20 pixels. And I think I spelled something wrong. Yes, I did bottom. And there it goes. So that moves up there. All right. Now, if I were to hide this, so I'm just having a quick think. If I were to hide this, what I would do is I'll put a little tiny logo up here, and then when you click on it, it'll shrink it. And then once it's shrunk, there'll be a little button here, and you click it and it'll enlarge. So, yeah, I could do that. No socks. However, I'm going to leave it there tonight, just because it's 10 o'clock. I need to go to bed. I've got work tomorrow. Oh, I've got a truncated table too. God damn it. Yeah. Anyway, let's find someone to raid. They're not running anymore. Grove. Just making sure they're not playing a game. All right. Don't know if you guys know Tim Badeau. Yeah, let's rate Tim. And I've just knocked something off my desk. Anyway, thank you very much. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. It has been wonderful. We got a lot done. Sorry about the cats fighting and stuff like that. It's just, Yeah, so I won't be streaming on Friday. I've got something on. Where was I going with this? Yeah, what I'll be doing over the next week is I'll still be looking at a lot of the designs and so forth like that, and yeah, hopefully I make up my mind about how I'm going to tackle the design and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, doing these sort of mock-ups has been fun. That sort of made me think, all right, cool, this is how I'm going to actually tackle this problem if I use this sort of thing, or if I use vanilla CSS and all that kind of fun stuff. All right, thank you very much, and I do hope you enjoyed Timberdo's stream. So yeah, thank you. And for those on YouTube, terribly sorry you won't be able to follow the raid, but don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you very much for being here. So yeah, thank you.